It's been just over a month since the live mode debut trailer, and we are all patiently waiting for our next big drop of Paralives info. That makes this the perfect time to take a moment and look at the last month of dev chats. For this video, we have the dev chats from January 12th to February 2nd, 2024 to review. I'm going to extract what I believe, at least to me, is the most interesting topics of discussion from these 4 dev chats and present them in no particular order. If there's something I've missed or a topic about Paralives you want me to cover in greater detail, let me know what it is in the comments. I'm always looking for more things to dive deep on for Paralives, just like I'm always looking for new games to play. And when I'm looking for something new to play, I usually hit up Instant Gaming. They have tons of games available at really great discounts. And if you're like me and you play The Sims while you patiently wait for Paralives to enter early access, you can find all of their DLC for really low prices. You can find a link below to take you to their website. If you make any purchases from that link, I will get a small commission. That being said, if you'd rather win your Sims DLC rather than pay for it, every month I'm doing a giveaway on Instant Gaming. Click the link in the description below for more information. Good luck! Alrighty, let's get to the good now. Possible Assassin had a very interesting question. I've seen this exact discussion pop up a number of times all over the community, a few times on some of my own videos as well. They asked, have you guys ever used pre-rendered visuals for any of the images or videos you've shared of the game? And I think Alex had a great response to it. Since the very beginning of the project, all of the videos have been captured from the game engine, so we never did pre-rendered video. I was very happy to hear this was the answer. I mean, I've never really been concerned that this wasn't the case, but having a definite answer that we can point to when Paralives deniers try to use anything they can to paint the game in a negative light is helpful. Alex goes on to admit that, in the past, we've added special effects like dust particles in the air, for instance. But I don't really see that as a huge issue, especially if they can't implement them in time for early access next year. I'd rather they focus on the core mechanics of the game, which is how they seem to want to prioritize things. And it's good. Good on them. Next up is another question from Possible Assassin from the same dev chat. I think they should change their name to Possible Excellent Question Asker at this point. Am I right? Anywho, they asked a great question regarding lighting and shaders. In case you didn't know, a shader is a program used to render different pixels in video games. These help with detailing shadows, lighting, textures, gradients, and more. Now, I'm not an expert on this by any means, especially since my husband is the one writing this, and I'm learning this essentially as I read it to you. Wait, is that actually in the script? Talk about a fourth wall break. My experience with shaders is limited to what I've messed around with in Minecraft and in The Sims 4, but I know they are a very important part in graphics rendering and go a long way in helping a game develop its characteristic visual style. So, with all of that being said, Possible Assassin asked, how's the lighting and shaders of the game coming along? They also pointed out the difference in the look and feel between the holiday outfit video and the Pairmaker video, which I thought was interesting, as there is a noticeable difference in the softness of the lighting between the two videos. Chloe was able to confirm that the shaders have been worked on, and went on to describe how they worked within the constraints of the game. She pointed out that some of the main differences we are noting are the softness of the lighting, as well as the differences in the character shader, as pairs are now more cel shaded. She also mentions that, in terms of both environment and characters, our shaders will not go through significant changes going forward. To me, this all sounds great. As someone who has loved watching the evolution of the visual style throughout the years, can you believe that holiday video was 3 years ago? It's nice to hear at this point that the visuals are essentially locked in. Moving on to a great question regarding paras and illness. Jamie asked, will paras get sick? If so, would they have different kinds of illnesses like a cold, a stomach bug, headaches, etc.? I love this question because I love the idea of having things like this added to the game. They add such an interesting flavor to any game and allow for more storyline possibilities, which I think is fantastic. Now, Anna does go on to mention this sort of feature isn't confirmed at the moment, but they do mention that they think it would be nice to have a few simple illnesses. So hopefully this can become a feature in the game, as I've been hoping for a really long time now. Moving on from the community voted questions to more general questions, we do have an interesting question from Iceman regarding basements. They asked, since you've restarted work on build mode, does that mean you'll tackle basements soon? This was a great question because this has been something that I've been wondering about myself for a while now, so I'm glad we were able to get a dev response from it, and they had this to say. Well, we have indeed started messing around related build mode features. Basements are not on the docket at the immediate moment. I think we'll have more to say about those in the future, so stay tuned. Now, while the answer may not be the one I would have wanted a full confirmation. I'm happy to hear it's a topic they will have information on in the future. So perhaps not during early access, but by full release, this is something we can expect to see. Maybe. Perhaps. Who knows, but I can hope. A major feature of The Sims 4 is its genetic system. Now, it might not be good, but it is something. So it's only natural that Paralives would have a similar feature, and has been something the devs have discussed in the past. I know it's something that I always think about with a life sim, and I've had a lot of fun seeing what sort of abominations I can create with my characters in that Plum Bob game. You know what I mean, Jellybean? I think we've all been there, done that. That's why I was happy to see this question get brought up. Have you had much chance to look at a paragenetics lately? What's something you look forward to implementing? Now, I can't imagine how complex of a feature genetics would be to code into a game. I'm not a developer or a scientist. I don't know anything. But I know there are a lot of things on their plate right now to work on. I am perfectly fine with genetics not being a core feature when early access is released, but Anna goes on to say that genetics is not something I've had the chance to work on for a while now, but I should get back to it this year to finalize the core features. Which leads me to believe this is something that they are hoping to have included. I like that. For the last question, I know Possible Excellent Question Asker, Possible Assassin, has appeared a few times already in this video, but this question is too important not to feature. When you guys put Paralives into early access, do you want it to feel like a complete game that you're just adding to? Or do you guys expect it to feel like most early access games where a lot of the features are missing, or a glorified demo? As someone who has played a number of early access games in the past, I can totally understand why this question is important. Nobody wants to buy an early access game that isn't respectful of the player's time or investment. Now, to be fully transparent, in the years of covering Paralives, this has never been a big concern for me. I've always believed that if Paralives were to release in early access, the devs would ensure that early access was a great experience that would continue to evolve until it was fully released. With that in mind, I was pleased to see Alex's response where he said, "We hope for early access to be more than a demo and be an enjoyable game experience. However, it will have bugs and missing features that we have previously announced like pets, cars, and others. All I can say is that I cannot wait to play Paralives when it releases next year in early access." Well, that about wraps up this dev chat video. I tried to cover as many of the big questions as I could. If you're still hungry for more Paralives info, let me know in the comments what you want me to do in my next Paralives video. As I said earlier, I am always looking for new ideas, especially when it relates to Paralives. Thank you for watching, and remember to stay happy, healthy, and hydrated. Bye!